Within the shimmering halls of the Galactic Council, dread ripples as Earth is ordered to disarm. Alien observers watch humanity's response, an inscrutable calm punctuated by chilling resolve. The sudden arrival of a colossal Deathworld ship shatters assumptions and ignites fear. A cryptic human declaration promises reckoning, shifting power irreversibly. The council chamber gleamed like a jewel suspended in the endless void, its towering walls woven from living crystal pulsing faintly with an iridescent light. Hundreds of alien delegates gathered, their multifaceted eyes flickering nervously toward the massive holoscreen. At the center floated a holographic projection of Earth, blue, fragile, and humming with faint electromagnetic signatures. Earth must disarm immediately, intoned High Magistrate Velcora, her 6 tendrils trembling with authority. Their recent expansions threaten the fragile peace of the sector. Whispers rippled through the assembly. The decision was unanimous, but disbelief lingered like a shadow. How could a species so primitive, so recently elevated to galactic status, harbor such defiance beneath their naive facade? Velcora's gaze sharpened. We cannot allow the rogue human fleets to challenge the Council's will. Suddenly, the holoscreen flickered, then vanished. The chamber's tension thickened. From the observation pod adjoining the council room, Ambassador Krylos Vex stared with widening eyes. They're not retreating. The humans, they're preparing. Another alien leaned forward. Preparing for what? They promised compliance. From the depths of the observation chamber, a flicker of static broke the silence. A direct feed from Earth's orbital command, their flagship, the Valiant, floated serenely in orbit. Its hull was black, angular, the faint shimmer of a cloaking field weaving across its surface. Commander Lena Hart's voice crackled through the comm link, calm but heavy. Council of the Stars, this is Earth Command. We received your demand to disarm. We will comply once you witness our resolve. Behind her, the Valiant's weapon systems blinked offline, their red glows extinguishing one by one. The silence was suffocating. Then, without warning, an immense shadow darkened Earth's orbit. The chamber's atmosphere shifted, panic rippling across alien faces as the holoscreen reactivated, now showing a titanic vessel materializing through the void. It was a Deathworld ship, massive and alien, its surface covered in jagged obsidian plates, alive with bioorganic thrusters pulsing like a heartbeat. "This is impossible," gasped Velcora. "That craft belongs to no known species. It's from the Shard Expanse, Deathworld territory." Krylos Vex felt the air grow thick, a cold dread settling into his limbs. What are the humans doing? Why bring a Deathworld warship into the Council's midst? On board the Valiant, Lena's eyes narrowed as she activated the ship's resonance emitters, nanotech arrays humming softly. They asked us to disarm. We showed them our hands. But the Deathworld ship? It's our final message. Her comm officer swallowed, voice trembling. "Commander, they're powering up weapons. The Council is scrambling fleet reinforcements." Lena's expression hardened. "Let them come. Earth's wrath is no longer a secret." A single line escaped her lips, low and ominous, carried across the void. "We do not forgive. We do not forget. We are not what you feared. We are far worse." As the council chamber descended into chaos, the quiet void outside grew heavier. The Deathworld ship loomed, a living nightmare poised to rewrite the galaxy's balance of power. The silent ultimatum had begun. The council chamber's crystalline walls refracted panic into fractured spectrums. Delegates whispered in frantic bursts, the collective fear palpable. None understood how Earth had summoned a Deathworld ship, an ancient relic from the galaxy's deadliest frontier, the Shard Expanse. "The Shard Expanse is a forsaken region," intoned Dr. Hellion, a xenobiologist. specializing in Deathworld ecosystems. Life there evolves through relentless conflict, predation, and environmental extremes. Ships from that zone are symbiotic beasts, hostile beyond comprehension. Velcora's 6 tendrils twitched. Why would Earth summon such horror? This defies every treaty. From another pod, Ambassador Krylos' eyes darkened. Their silence on technology has always been disturbing, but this is a deliberate message. Far below, aboard the Valiant, Sergeant Malik crouched behind a panel, heart-pounding. The sterile metal walls of the warship's control hub felt suddenly too thin. "They want us dead," he muttered to himself, voice thick with grim certainty. But they don't know who they're fighting. Outside, the Deathworld ship pulsed, its bioorganic armor shifting subtly, plates rearranging as if sensing threats. Lena's voice broke through the static on Malik's comm. "Prepare for engagement. They will test our defenses." Malik swallowed the lump in his throat. How do you fight something that's alive? Something that grows stronger with every hit? The scientific explanations on board Earth's flagship were terse but deadly precise. Nanotech swarms adapted in real time to damage. Electromagnetic pulses cloaked their presence. Gravity projectors simulated environmental pressures to confuse sensors. Yet the Deathworld ship's sheer alien nature was a puzzle. No known weapons could pierce its living armor without triggering violent regenerative responses. Back in the council chamber, Velcora's voice cracked. "If Earth wields Deathworld tech, they hold a trump card none of us anticipated." A young delegate, eyes wide, whispered, "They aren't just primitive. They're survivors, shaped by worlds hostile enough to forge monsters." Krylos shook his head, the old conviction faltering. "Have we underestimated them for too long?" Silence fell heavy like a shroud. Outside, the void seemed to hold its breath as humanity's Deathworld weapons stirred, and Earth's cold promise lingered. In the silence, we do not forgive. We do not forget. We are far worse than you feared. The council chamber had fallen into grim silence, broken only by the faint hum of surveillance instruments. High Magistrate Velcora's 6 tendrils flexed nervously, betraying her resolve. "We must understand the nature of their weapon, how they control something so alien." Dr. Halian's voice echoed through the chamber's crystalline acoustics. "The nanotech arrays aboard the Deathworld ship operate symbiotically with the vessel's bioorganic structure. They adapt at the molecular level, reconfiguring armor and weaponry faster than any council science has documented." Krylos leaned forward. "This goes beyond warfare. It's ecological domination. A living planet made mobile." Far below, Earth's orbital command, aboard the Valiant, Dr. Amina Rao crouched over the ship's nanotech control console. Her fingers danced across the interface, monitoring the swarm's molecular reassembly in real time. "Commander," she murmured into her comm, voice tight with urgency, "the nanobots mimic environmental DNA from Earth's most hostile terrains. The Mariana Abyss, Siberian tundras, and even the toxic sulfur vents of Io. This ship isn't just a weapon, it's an ecosystem." Lena's voice cut through, calm but unyielding. "So it grows stronger by drawing on Earth's deadliest habitats, turning their horrors into our shield." Amina swallowed hard, the weight of the revelation sinking in. "They won't just break through defenses, they'll reshape the battlefield itself." Below deck, Sergeant Malik secured his gear, heart pounding with a mix of dread and determination. "We fight not just for survival," he muttered, "but to show them the price of underestimating humanity." Outside, the Deathworld. Ship's hull pulsed rhythmically, bioluminescent veins snaking beneath jagged plates. Its sensors flickered, analyzing incoming attacks and adapting instantaneously. Back in the council chamber, Velcora's voice cracked. "If they wield a living weapon forged from Earth's darkest places, the galaxy's balance is at risk." Vess's eyes burned with a sudden clarity. We have misread them. Humanity is not merely defiant. They are evolution's brutal answer to our complacency. As the void darkened with the shadow of war, the truth hung heavy. Humanity's rage was no accident. It was the inevitable storm born beneath the surface of a Deathworld planet called Earth. Earth's forces brace for the inevitable clash as the Deathworld ship fully awakens, unleashing primal fury. On the Council side, fear turns to desperation, while humans reveal chilling tactical brilliance forged in their planet's brutal crucible. The first deadly exchange promises no mercy, and every moment tightens the noose of war. The void beyond. Earth's orbit stretched silent and endless, a black canvas speckled with distant stars that had never witnessed a conflict quite like this. Inside the Valiant's command bridge, Commander Lena Hart stood rigid beneath the overhead glow. Around her, the bridge crew moved with grim precision, eyes flicking between consoles, alive with data streaming faster than thought. "Status report," Lena commanded. Lieutenant Chen's fingers danced over the tactical interface. "Deathworld ship fully active, Commander. Nanotech armor is regenerating damage at 37% per minute. Electromagnetic disruption fields are cycling, currently at peak strength." Lena's jaw tightened. "We've never seen nanotech evolve this. Vast. What's their offensive capacity?" Chen's eyes darted to the projections. "Adaptive bioweapons deploying. Plasma lances, acidic sprays, and gravity distorters that can create localized black holes. They're treating the entire ship as a living weapon." Behind Lena, the hum of the ship's resonance emitters deepened, as if syncing with the alien vessel's rhythm. The eerie, bioluminescent glow from the Deathworld ship bled through the thickened viewport, casting flickering shadows across the command deck. "We fight monsters forged in Earth's most hostile environments," Lena murmured. "It's poetic justice." "Commander," Amina Rao's voice came over the comm, sharp with warning. "Our nanotech swarm is syncing with the Deathworld's ecosystem. I've initiated a controlled feedback loop. If we overload it, we risk losing the entire swarm and leaving our defenses exposed." Lena nodded, voice steel hard. "Do it. We can't let them dictate terms." Outside, the Deathworld ship shifted. Jagged plates rearranged like a living beast awakening fully from slumber. Veins of pulsating energy snaked across its hull as weapon systems flared alive. Back in the Galactic Council chamber, panic gripped the delegates. "Velcora, we underestimated Earth's ruthlessness," Vex admitted, voice heavy. "This weapon is a horror born from their survival instinct. Our treaties mean nothing to them." Velcora's tendrils twitched in anger. "We must respond. Mobilize the vanguard fleets. Engage with caution." The Council fleet assembled rapidly, a dazzling array of starships shimmering with technology far beyond Earth's crude reputation. Yet as they neared the Valiant and the Deathworld ship, hesitation bloomed. Every strike seemed to meet a living reactive wall. Attempts to disable the vessel with concentrated plasma barrages only accelerated its regenerative nanotech. Aboard the Valiant, Sergeant Malik prepared the boarding teams. "Remember," Lena's voice crackled through comm, "this isn't just a battle for survival. It's a reckoning. We carry Earth's fury, and it won't be denied." Malik's jaw clenched as he secured his exo-armor. Let them come. Let them face what humanity became beneath the ashes of their own Deathworld. The airlock hissed, the doors peeling back to reveal the yawning void where the Deathworld ship hung like a nightmare in orbit. The first skirmish was about to begin. The battle erupts in full fury as the Valiant's boarding teams clash with alien forces inside the living Deathworld ship. Amid raging chaos, human soldiers uncover horrifying ecosystems thriving within the ship's bioorganic hull. Commander Lena faces impossible choices, while alien leaders confront the shattering consequences of underestimating Earth. Sacrifice. and resolve collide in a brutal crucible of fire. The void's silence shattered as the Valiant's boarding pods breached the outer hull of the Deathworld ship. The airlock hissed open onto a world unlike any battlefield known in the galaxy. Walls pulsed with living flesh, veins pumping unknown fluids, and bioluminescent flora spread eerie light that flickered like dying stars. Sergeant Malik's team stepped cautiously, the soles of their boots sinking slightly into the fleshy floor that reacted to their presence. The smell was thick, an acidic tang mixed with the metallic taste of blood and something ancient and primal. "Stay sharp," Malik growled, eyes scanning the organic corridors. "This ship isn't just alive, it's a predator." Explosions echoed ahead as firefights erupted. Human soldiers engaged alien boarding parties who fought with desperate ferocity. Blasters hissed and sparks flew as adaptive nanotech armor absorbed damage only to mutate and evolve instantly. Lenahart's voice came over the calm but edged with urgency. "Keep pushing forward. Our objective is the ship's core. Disable its control nexus and sever the bio-nanotech symbiosis." Amina Rao, aboard the Valiant, monitored the ship's systems remotely. "Commander, sensors are detecting rapid growth in the ship's interior ecosystem. The core is surrounded by spore clusters releasing neurotoxic pollen. Proceed with extreme caution." Inside the bioorganic corridors, Malik's squad moved deeper, the walls pulsating with hostile intent. Suddenly, a section of the floor heaved, erupting in a shower of thorned vines that lashed out with deadly precision. "Contact!" Malik shouted, diving as a vine snapped inches from his helmet. His rifle barked, sending bursts of plasma into the writhing mass. The vines retracted like wounded beasts, leaving charred flesh behind. "Adaptive defenses," muttered Corporal Reyes, his scanner pulsing in alarm. "They learn from every attack." The squad pressed on, moving toward a cavernous chamber where the air shimmered with heat and chemical haze. The ship's core throbbed, a massive organ entwined with glowing nanotech filaments, pulsing rhythmically like a heart. Lena's voice crackled through again. "Malik, this is it. Plant the EMP charges. We have one shot." As the squad set the charges, alien defenders emerged. Hulking creatures, bioengineered hybrids with claws sharp as razors and skin like molten rock. The firefight escalated into brutal hand-to-hand combat. Malik's rifle jammed. He drew a combat blade, the cold steel, a stark contrast to the living nightmare around him. He lunged at a beast, the blade sinking into its armored chest. It screamed, a sound like grinding stone and burning sulfur, then collapsed. The EMP detonated with a thunderous pulse. The nanotech filaments spasmed, unraveling in luminous strands. The ship shuddered violently as its life systems faltered. Back, on the Valiant, Amina's face was pale. The symbiosis is breaking down, but the ship's organic core is dying, and that means catastrophic failure. Lena nodded grimly. "Get the boarding teams out now. We don't know what will happen when it collapses." Outside, the Deathworld ship convulsed. Cracks split its hull as living armor peeled back, revealing raw, pulsating tissue beneath. A terrible roar echoed through space, part mechanical, a part organic. The Council fleet watched in horror as the ship began to disintegrate from within. Yet from its depths, a terrible new threat emerged. Creatures birthed from the ship's destruction, monstrous hybrids born of nanotech and Deathworld. "Biology," Kirvess's voice was haunted. "This is not defeat, it's evolution." Velcora clenched her fists. "Earth will pay for this reckoning. We will not be undone by monsters from their own soil." But the galaxy's ancient order was breaking, and humanity's fire was forging. A new path through the crucible of war. Humanity's war was no longer just about survival. It was a reckoning born of fire and sacrifice, one that would burn through the stars themselves. The wreckage of the Deathworld ship drifted like a corpse in space, its glowing biofilaments flickering and dying. But beneath the shattered hull, new horrors stirred. The monstrous hybrids birthed in the collapse spread through the wreckage, grotesque amalgamations of twisted flesh, sharp nanotech edges, and alien muscle. Their instincts were pure: kill, consume, evolve. Commander Lena Hart's voice cut through the Valiant's comm channels, sharp and steady despite the chaos. All teams report status. The hybrids are moving fast. Contain and hold your positions, Sergeant. Melik's voice came through, breath ragged but resolute. Holding Sector 7. The hybrids overwhelmed our left flank, but we're stabilizing. The team is pushing back. The Valiant's hull vibrated as its energy shields absorbed heavy bombardment from the Council's fleet. The Council warships, still shaken by the loss of their Deathworld flagship, lashed out desperately to contain the nightmare. Amina Rao worked feverishly in the ship's command center, her fingers flying over consoles. Commander, the hybrids are adapting to our weapons. Their bio-nanotech interface is evolving in real time, bypassing shields and armor. We're losing ground fast. Lena clenched her jaw. Then we change tactics, deploy the swarm drones, use the electromagnetic pulses to disrupt their neural links. The ship's hangar doors hissed open, and a swarm of tiny drones poured into the battlefield, a buzzing cloud of autonomous machines armed with micro-EMPs. The drones darted among the hybrids, releasing pulses that momentarily froze the creatures in place. But the pause was fleeting. From the darkness of space, a Council flagship, the Vecthar, loosed a salvo of plasma bolts aimed at the Valiant. The attack tore through the outer shield, sending shockwaves through the hull. "Damage report," Lena barked. "Shield generators offline on port side. Hull breaches detected," Amina replied. "We can't hold much longer." The hybrids surged through the breaches in the hull. Human soldiers fought with desperate courage, but the hybrids were relentless, their claws shredding armor and flesh alike. In the chaos, Lena's mind flickered to the Council's words. The demand for Earth to disarm. They had expected a broken planet, a submission. Instead, humanity had struck back with fire and fury. "Why are they like this?" Lena whispered to herself, watching her soldiers fall and rise again, fueled by something deeper than survival: revenge, wrath, and an unyielding will. Her thoughts were interrupted by an incoming encrypted transmission from the Council command. The voice was cold, authoritative. "Velcora, Commander Hart, this is your last warning. Withdraw immediately or face annihilation." Lena's response was swift and chilling. "You asked us to disarm. We chose to fight. We will not surrender, and we will not stop until your threats end with your defeat." On the bridge of the Vecthar, Velcora's expression darkened. The Council had underestimated Earth's capacity for sacrifice and cunning. The hybrids were their own nightmare now, born of arrogance and desperation. "Contain the hybrids at all costs. We cannot let Earth's war consume the galaxy," Velcora commanded. But the hybrids had no masters, only instinct and hunger. They tore through Council ranks, turning once pristine corridors into blood-soaked battlegrounds. In the Valiant's command center, Amina's voice broke with urgency. "Commander, the ship's AI reports cascading failures. Core integrity compromised. We have minutes before a full reactor breach." Lena nodded, her gaze steely. "Evacuation protocols now. Everyone out." As soldiers evacuated, Lena stayed behind, coordinating the retreat and planting demolition charges to ensure the hybrids would not follow them beyond the wreckage. She glanced at the ship's core interface, the heart of the bio-nanotech symbiosis that once powered the Deathworld ship. Its pulsing light dimmed rapidly. A sudden surge of energy knocked her off balance. The hybrid's queen, a towering monstrosity, wrapped in chains of nanotech and thorned flesh, emerged from the shadows. "Face me," Lena said quietly, drawing her blade. The Queen roared, a sound of fury and ancient malice. Lena charged, her movements precise and deadly. Steel clashed against bioorganic armor as they fought in a desperate ballet of death. Each strike from Lena's blade seared through the creature's flesh, but the Queen retaliated with crushing power. The battle was brutal and exhausting, but Lena's resolve did not waver. With a final surge, she drove her blade into the Queen's core. The monstrosity shuddered, then collapsed. The Valiant shook violently as the last demolition charge detonated, tearing through the core and sealing the ship's fate. Outside, the Council fleet began to withdraw, their forces decimated and morale broken. Lena exhaled, her body aching but her spirit unbroken. The war was far from over, but humanity had shown the galaxy that it would fight, no matter the cost. The stars had never felt colder. The remnants of the Deathworld ship were drifting in shattered silence, a corpse marked by the fire of war. Yet the Valiant's crew, bruised but unbeaten, carried within them a new kind of flame, a defiant ember born from blood and sacrifice. Commander Lena Hart stood on the observation deck, staring out into the void. The battlescape was littered with wreckage and drifting bodies, but beneath it all lay a message the galaxy had not expected. Humanity would not kneel. Amina Rao joined. Her quietly, the soft hum of the ship, a fragile comfort against the lingering chaos. "We held them off," Amina said softly, "but at a terrible cost. Casualties are high." Lena nodded, her voice resolute. "We knew the price. Earth has always paid it before. We'll pay it again if we must." In the shadows of the Council's high chamber, Velcora faced her fractured command. Panic flickered behind the practiced calm of the elders as reports flooded in. The hybrids had evolved beyond control, entire fleets shattered, and Earth's forces emboldened by a ruthless will to survive. "How could we have misjudged them so?" Velcora demanded. An elder counselor whispered, "Their primitive resilience, it is not weakness but a deep, unyielding strength." Across the galaxy, old alliances cracked. Many who once viewed Earth as a fringe world began to question the Council's authority. The fear of humanity's unpredictability spread like wildfire. Back on Earth, deep beneath the ruins of a long-abandoned facility, secret human factions convened. These were the architects of Earth's survival, scientists, warriors, and strategists, who had worked in silence, perfecting technologies that could shift the balance of power. Dr. Emil Voss, a figure both revered and feared, addressed the gathering. The Council believed Earth was broken. They were wrong. Now we show them why. On a holographic map, glowing red zones marked targets, Council supply routes, command hubs, and undisclosed installations. "Our next moves will be decisive. This is no longer just defense. It's a reckoning." As Earth prepared to ignite the next phase of conflict, shadows deepened across the stars. The Council's grip weakened, but the galaxy was far from peace. Humanity's embers burned bright, ready to engulf all who dared stand against them. Commander Lena Hart crouched in the choking alien underbrush, the dim glow of the planet's twin moons casting strange shadows on the jagged rocks. Her squad moved silently, every step a test of discipline against a world designed to kill. This was no ordinary mission. It was a strike at the very nerve center of the Council's war machine. Amina Rao's voice crackled through the calm but tense. "Intel confirms the Council's bioweapons lab is here, deep beneath the surface. Disabling it could turn the tide." Lena signaled her team forward. They descended into the labyrinth of tunnels carved by alien hands, the walls humming faintly with nanotech energy. The air was thick with the metallic scent of fear and decay. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the tunnel. Hybrid creatures surged from the shadows, their glowing eyes fixed on the intruders. "Contact!" Lena shouted, drawing her plasma rifle. The squad opened fire, blue bolts cutting through the darkness. Amid the firefight, Lena's gaze locked on a console pulsing with encrypted data. She sprinted forward, fingers flying over the interface. Seconds felt like hours as she hacked into the Council's secrets. "What is it?" Amina urged. Lena's breath caught. "They're not just afraid of us. They're terrified of something deeper. This bioweapon isn't just a weapon. It's designed to erase humanity itself, down to the genetic level." Back in the council chambers, Velcora's once steely composure cracked. Debate raged between those who wished to negotiate and hardliners who called for total extermination. "How long can we afford this division?" Velcora demanded, but no one answered. Lena's team fought their way back, burdened with deadly knowledge. The war was no longer just about survival. It was about existence itself. The galaxy held its breath as shadows lengthened, the echoes of war growing louder with every passing moment. The council chamber was no longer a place of unity. Once a bastion of alien solidarity, it now echoed with bitter words and cold stares. Velcora's iron grip weakened, and whispers of rebellion slipped between the delegates like poison. "This war will consume us all if we don't act," Velcora said, her voice heavy with despair. One elder, cloaked in shadows, stepped forward. "Then perhaps it is time we consider an alliance with humanity." The room erupted in stunned silence. Back on Earth, Lena reviewed the intercepted transmissions from Council defectors. A fragile hope flickered, a chance to turn enemies into allies. Her thoughts were interrupted by a sudden alert. An unknown fleet had entered the system, ships sleek and silent, unlike any Council design. "We're not just fighting the Council anymore," Amina said gravely. "There's something else out there. Something worse." Lena's jaw tightened. The war had deepened into a shadow conflict with stakes beyond any soldier's reckoning. As alliances shifted and the enemy multiplied, Lena prepared her forces for the ultimate gambit. A strike on the Council's homeworld itself. The galaxy's fate teetered on a knife's edge. Humanity's fire had awakened something ancient and hungry. The Council's homeworld hung in the void like a jewel veiled in darkness. From orbit, it was a storm of cold metals and flashing energy. Fields, a fortress wrought from millennia of calculated design. The stars around it gleamed dimmer, as if afraid to witness what was about to unfold. Commander Lena Hart stood on the bridge of the Valiant, her eyes locked on the swirling storms of plasma that danced around the planet's upper atmosphere. Behind her, hundreds of ships readied for the assault, a flotilla forged in the crucible of survival, carrying the last hopes of humanity. "Begin the orbital bombardment," Lena commanded. Her voice was steady, but beneath it lay the weight of everything lost and everything at stake. Explosions blossomed across the alien surface, a violent prelude to the invasion. The Council's defenses responded with ruthless precision. Energy turrets flared, shields shimmered, and swarms of drones surged outward like a tide of iron and death. "Evasive maneuvers, shield integrity at 70%, the tactical officer reported. Lena's mind raced. This was no simple battle. The Council homeworld was a living fortress, wired with ancient technology that pulsed with terrifying power. It was also a tomb, and they were about to unearth its darkest secrets. The Valiant pierced the atmosphere, cutting through storms of ionized gas and magnetic turbulence. Below, the planet's surface was a scarred expanse of jagged mountains and endless industrial complexes, massive factories where bioengineering horrors had been born. "We're close to the central compound," Lena said, gripping the edge of the command console. "Deploy ground teams." The dropships tore through the atmosphere, descending into the war-torn landscape. The ground beneath was scorched and broken, dotted with the wreckage of failed Council experiments and battle casualties. Lena led the first wave, boots thudding against the alien soil. Her squad advanced cautiously, every shadow a potential ambush. "Stay sharp," she warned. "The Council isn't just defending their planet, they're defending their darkest secrets." They moved deeper into the compound, past shattered biomes where grotesque creatures once thrived. twisted hybrids designed for warfare, now lifeless husks. The air was thick with a metallic tang, mixed with something older, fouler. In a vast chamber at the heart of the facility, Lena and her team uncovered the truth. Walls lined with glass tanks held preserved specimens, genetic horrors that blurred the line between machine and life. Screens flickered with encrypted data, detailing experiments that manipulated DNA and nanotech at unimaginable scales. This isn't just a war effort, Amina whispered, scanning the files. They were engineering biological weapons capable of erasing entire species. Sudden alarm shattered the silence. The Council's elite guard materialized from hidden corridors, lithe, deadly figures armed with pulse rifles and cloaking tech that made them nearly invisible. "Engage!" Lena ordered, diving into a fierce firefight. Bolts of energy zipped. Through the air, shadows danced, and the chamber became a maelstrom of violence. Amidst the chaos, Lena spotted a console linked to the facility's core. If disabled, it could cripple the Council's planetary defenses. With a nod to Amina, she sprinted forward, fingers flying over the alien interface. "Shield systems collapsing," Amina reported breathlessly. "We've got less than 5 minutes before reinforcements arrive." Lena's heart pounded. She initiated the shutdown sequence. A cascade of energy flows dimmed, and the planet's defenses flickered. But as they prepared to retreat, a hidden door slid open, revealing a figure cloaked in the Council's ancient regalia, Velcora. Her eyes burned with fury and something else, despair twisted with a cold resolve. "You think you've won?" Velcora hissed, voice echoing with bitter power. "This is only the beginning." Before anyone could react, she vanished in a flash of light, teleportation technology centuries ahead of anything humanity had seen. Lena stood amidst the wreckage, breath heavy. The Council's heart had been struck, but the war was far from over, and somewhere in the darkness, Velcora was planning her next move. After crippling the Council's homeworld defenses, humanity faces a desperate counterstrike. Commander Lena leads a covert mission into the aliens' deepest vaults, uncovering forbidden knowledge that shakes her faith and challenges the limits of human endurance. As the sky above burns with war, the fragile hope for peace slips through fingers stained with blood and betrayal. The sky burned red above the shattered horizon, a relentless storm of fire and metal raining down on the ruins of the Council homeworld. From orbit, the human fleet watched helplessly as the alien defenses rallied, unleashing a brutal counterstrike that tore through their formations like a scythe through wheat. Commander Lena Hart stood in the war room aboard the Valiant, her face etched with exhaustion but burning with resolve. The battle was no longer just for survival, it was for the very soul of humanity. "We've held the outer rings, but the Council's retaliatory forces are massing," the tactical officer reported, voice grim. "They're preparing for a planetary purge." Lena's fingers clenched the console. "Then we strike deeper. If they want to burn the planet, we'll find their core and snuff it out." Amina Rao, now recovered from the last skirmish, joined her. "There's a vault beneath the central compound. It's where the Council keeps their most forbidden secrets, technology and knowledge they don't want anyone to see." Lena nodded. "Then that's where we're going." The descent into the vault was a journey into darkness itself. The air grew heavier, the silence more suffocating with every step. The walls bore carvings of an ancient language, alien symbols, pulsing faintly with nanotech energy, a silent testament to power beyond comprehension. Lena's squad moved in tight formation, every shadow a threat. The path spiraled downward into catacombs that seemed to breathe, as if alive with the ghosts of 1,000 forgotten wars. "Keep your comms quiet," Lena whispered. "We don't know what might be listening." At the heart of the vault they found a chamber unlike any other. Walls lined with crystalline matrices containing streams of data, memories, and forbidden experiments. Among them were recordings of the Council's darkest act. the genesis of the Deathworld project, a bioweapon, designed not just to kill, but to annihilate entire civilizations on a genetic level. Amina's hands trembled as she accessed the data. They engineered the virus to adapt and evolve, making it unstoppable. It's the real reason they demanded Earth disarm, because we were the first test subjects. Lena's stomach tightened. Humanity had been the unwitting catalyst for a galactic nightmare. Suddenly a low rumble shook the vault. Doors slammed shut. The Council's security systems had been triggered. "Trap!" Lena barked. "Prepare for contact!" Alien guardians emerged, warriors cloaked in energy shields, wielding weapons that bent space itself. The fight was brutal and unforgiving. Every strike echoed with the weight of desperation. Amidst the chaos, Lena found herself face to face with Velcora once more. This time, the alien's fury was tinged with madness. "You cannot stop what has begun," Velcora hissed. "The Deathworld virus will spread, and nothing will remain." Lena met her gaze, voice cold steel. "Not if we decide otherwise." A fierce duel erupted, metal clashing against energy, wills locked in a battle as old as the stars. Lena's training, her human grit and sheer determination proved relentless. With a final calculated move, Lena disarmed Velcora and forced her back. "We decide the future," Lena said, voice echoing in the chamber. "Not you." The vault systems began to collapse. Lena's team raced to escape, carrying with them the knowledge that could either save or doom the galaxy. Back aboard the Valiant, Lena reviewed the data, scientific breakthroughs intertwined with horrific ethics. The line between savior and monster blurred. The Council's demand for disarmament was more than political posturing. It was a desperate attempt to hide their own sins. As the human fleet regrouped for the final assault, Lena's mind grappled with the cost of war. Mercy, victory, or the extinction of a species that had already condemned itself. The shattered sky above the Council homeworld bore witness to humanity's reckoning. The void around the Council homeworld pulsed with electric tension, as if the stars themselves held their breath. The human fleet assembled in deadly formation, shadows of colossal warships stretching like predators stalking a dying prey. On board the Valiant, Commander Lena Hart stood at the prow, staring into the abyss, her mind a tempest of memories and determination. Behind her lay years of sacrifice, lives lost, hopes shattered, the terrible knowledge unearthed deep beneath the planet's surface. But ahead, the final confrontation waited, a crucible where the fate of humanity and the alien council would be decided once and for all. "Status report," Lena demanded, voice cutting through the hum of the bridge. "Tactical arrays show full. A planetary defense grid still active, but weakened," the tactical officer replied. "We have a narrow window before they regroup." "Then we take it," Lena said, steeling herself. Ground and space, the last hour. The battle was apocalyptic in scale. Below, humanity's forces clashed with the Council's defenders in a symphony of fire and steel. The air trembled with sonic blasts, plasma bolts, and the roar of engines. The Council's elite warriors fought with desperate ferocity, their cloaking tech weaving illusions in the smoke and debris. Above, the human fleet unleashed coordinated strikes against orbital platforms, shattering defenses with precision EMPs and nanotech swarms that ate through the alien ship hulls like acid. Lena led the ground assault personally, her squad moving through ruins twisted by ancient wars and new violence. Every step was a battle against time, against fear, and against the memory of what the Council had done. In the heart of the ruins, Lena confronted Velcora once more. The alien leader's eyes burned with cold fire, but beneath it flickered a rare shadow doubt. "You could have ended this with a word," Velcora said, voice like ice. "But you chose war." Lena's gaze was unwavering. You left us no choice. Their duel was fierce, not just a clash of weapons, but of wills. Every strike and parry echoed the weight of betrayal, vengeance, and a fragile hope. As their blades locked, Lena whispered, "It's not too late to change." Velcora faltered, pain and rage warring in her expression. Slowly, she lowered her weapon. "Show me," she said. The revelation. In the depths of the Council's final sanctuary, Lena and Velcora uncovered the core truth. The Deathworld virus was never meant as a weapon of annihilation alone. It was a desperate gambit to stop a far greater threat lurking beyond known space. An ancient predator species that devoured life itself. The Council's paranoia, their horrors, had been born from fear of extinction. Lena's heart ached with the bitter truth. Enemies born of survival instincts, caught in a cycle of violence and misunderstanding. The choice with the knowledge in hand, Lena broadcast a message across the fleet and the surviving Council forces. "We have a choice," she declared. "To continue this cycle of destruction, or to unite against the true enemy, one that threatens us all." There was silence. Then, from the Council ranks, a hesitant acceptance. The new dawn months later, the war was over, not with the total destruction of the Council, but with a fragile alliance forged in the fires of hardship. Humanity and the Council began to rebuild, sharing technology, knowledge, and hope. Lena stood beneath a foreign sky, watching as alien and human children played together in the ruins of a once battlefield. The stars no longer held their breath. They watched in quiet witness to the last light of Earth, a beacon of resilience, mercy, and a new beginning.